Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to show you some other suspension stuff I'm installing here today. Going through the BMR IRS support braces. See, I already have the cradle lockouts up here. I'm going to drop this down to get this down out of the way. And then what we're going to do is this piece with the bolt and a spacer goes right up into there. But in order to get that straight, you got to drop the front of this piece down first. We're going to get this out of the way. So this now makes a little more sense to me when I'm looking at this of where it goes. So you can kind of see like this bolts. There's two holes right there that don't have bolts in it by the factory. And then we're going to use this hole right here behind where I've already got part of the lockout in here. But again, this has got to come down, so I drop the cradle down a little bit so we get this straight, get it in there, install it. And then we'll go to the back one. In the back one, we drop the sway bar out, and then we reuse some of the lockout here and go up and around it with this piece right here. So we're gonna go through all that here today. And then I also have some camber adjusters. I'm finding that I need to adjust the suspension a little bit more. It's riding too much on the inside of the tire as it comes down. So you can kind of see the wear is more this way with the way the IRS rides. That's why they have to do this for doing the drag racing purposes. So that way we can get more of a flat contact patch on the launch. And I'll hopefully drop our 60-foot way down with the nitrous kit that's in there now. So we're gonna go through this, and I'll try to get some video of it as we go. All right, so that is how it goes up in there. So you can see the small silver washer goes there. We got a brass washer on the bottom. The spacer, this brass, goes through the insert of this arm here. As you can see, like this is the front part of the cradle. There's a washer and lock nut up on top. That's the reason why you drop it down, so you got room to get a wrench and everything up in there. I did struggle here for a minute because I had this upside, the wrong side. I thought it went the other way, but this is how the bracing actually faces on here. So you can kind of see if we can zoom out of this. Sorry for the wonkiness, but that's how the bracing goes. The bracing should be facing up like that. Otherwise that bolt is not straight to go in there. So get that in there. We'll put it all back together. The torque specs are on the instructions from BMR. Get that all torqued down, and that'll finish up on this part of the one. Okay, a little trick here on this. If you pull both sides of the sway bar, there's two bolts there, two over on the other side, both 13s. Then the bar flops loose and you can manipulate it however you want to get this other piece in here. So I've got this one side down. I've got bolts back in it to support the front of it. So I'm just gonna pull this back bolt out. So we'll pull this on down and then put the little brace piece up in there, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So quick note on this, like I have the lockouts, so you can see from what I had done originally. So we're gonna put the lockout up over this and the bolt back through, and that's gonna bolt up in there. I've got one bolt through the sway bar back here. They have the bolts all for this to kind of hold this here, but I'm gonna need two hands to get done. All right, we got them up in there. And you can see bolt going up through. That's all tightened back down and torqued. Torque specs are all in the instructions from BMR. Again, it was pretty easy to get them here once you figure out where everything is, because the pictures don't do justice to how these actually line up. But if you can see here, and we'll get a picture that I'll insert, kind of shows it all the way back, but there's the lockout that I put here. And then here is the actual IRS brace. And they said it goes that direction underneath the car, and that's what's gonna make it fit. Then you give some new bolts and you still torque these two down here on this cradle lockout. But we'll get that done here in just a second, then we'll move on and we'll do the camber arms, which are those fun things right back through there. If you can see the lovely arm wrecker that it has on the fuel filler tube. So moving along on here, you've got two nuts that hold the arm in on either side. This one's kind of more the pain in the ass because the fuel filler thing goes across there. Already got it out of there. Once it's out of there, you'll notice that like you can move this pretty good, and that lets you kind of shake the bolt loose or just take a little hammer and tap this one on out. Once that's done, what you're gonna do is match up the length of the arm with your new arm. All right, so giving you this, go ahead and grease that fitting there before you install this. And then you've got a pinch bolt to hold this tight once you actually get everything aligned. So once you get the length, you can kind of move everything around a little bit with the jam nuts, and then also by turning the entire eyelet as well. So that's where we're at. Doing the second one, already got the first one in. You can see where it's sitting now. If I actually throw the angle up on here, I've got an extra degree out of it. You can see it's through there. Jam node installed, back on there, all tightened back down. All right, so we got it all back together. I had tried to record an outro video and it evidently did not record. So a little error on my part from yesterday when I was doing this. But you can see now the tires, you can actually tell it's sitting a little bit, I think that's negative if I'm remembering the camber correctly, with the tires pulled out at the top side there. I will say, like, I thought I had recorded this yesterday too on this. That arm in the previous clip, as we cut over to this, if you look at the arm, what it tells you to do is to measure the length of the stock arm. So if you go from center to center of where the bolts go, it ended up being, I think, 10 3/4 of an inch. Just shy of 11 inches was the way I was measuring it on center to center. So what I ended up doing is taking it out an extra 1/8 of an inch, which was basically 2 turns around on the arm to get it to this. And when I put it back on there, as far as I could pull them out before, I was getting -1 degrees, which again, that's using the cell phone as a level. I still need to get it professionally aligned to confirm some of the numbers, but basically I was at -1 using the level system in my phone with it pulled out just a touch, and now I'm at -2. So I basically added another degree negative to this to get it to be more flat. Already went and launched it on bare asphalt. It did a 1.8 60 foot. Before on bare asphalt, I never got below a 1.9. So that was a huge improvement. We'll go from there and get some videos up of how it actually does at the track, more in the short format, but for the long video here, it's done, it's installed, car's ready to rip.